Hi everyone, Emily here, and today I have my December TBR. And so to help me with my December TBR, I do have my reading journal. I'm almost done with it, which is exciting to think. Like, I started this last year around the same time because I had my Reindeer Readathon prompts in there for last year, and I have them to share with you today for this year. So I am doing the Reindeer Readathon. Erik over at Breakeven Books, he's the host in charge of this. He's been doing this for 5 years now, I guess. And I know I participated in last year. I don't think I did the year before that. So this is my second, maybe my third year participating. I really think only my second year. But this year I'm on Team Mistletoe. So I had to pull out my shirt. It says Professional Mistletoe Tester. It's just a silly shirt, folks. But so for the Reindeer Readathon, all of the prompts are centered around the different reindeers that pull Santa's sleigh. And then there are also bonus prompts that go along with things. Now, in order to do the bonus prompt, you also have to link it with one of the main prompts. Now, the nice thing is, like, if you can't do an ebook, or you can't, like, some of the bonus prompts are an audiobook or an ebook. If you can't do that for like sensory reasons or vision reasons or something like that, then that's okay. No worries. Like, you can substitute out the prompt for something else. So that is the nice thing. So I'm going to show you my reading in order that they appear for the prompts. You're going to see very quickly that there's no way I can complete them in order of these prompts because I'm going to be binging a trilogy, and the first book I have to show you is book 2 of that trilogy, so that won't work. So my first prompt is Dasher. So Dasher is a prompt where you have this huge word search, and the title had to have one of the first 5 words that you found in that word search. Now, here's what was a nice thing, was if you have a hard time processing information in word searches, they did give you an alternate way to complete that prompt. So I confess, I went down and looked at what are the words in the word search. Oh, and one of them is girl. Cool. So I quickly found the word girl. It was one of the first 5 words that I found. So for that reason, I'm going to be reading The Girl in the Tower by Katherine Arden, which is book 2 of The Bear and the Nightingale, or book 2 in the Winter Night trilogy. So I can't really go into this in great detail because of spoiler reasons. But this is set in Russia, in very much has winter vibes. I read Bear and the Nightingale earlier this year and loved it. And I have been meaning to read book 2 and book 3. So December is the month where I'm going to binge. And so I also tried to choose books for this readathon that were shorter, with the exception of one I had to pick that was longer for reasons. But for this readathon, I tried to find shorter books simply because in November I've read over, like, I was in a readathon and I did 2 books that are over 600 pages. So that has been a challenge to balance that. So, but book number 1, The Girl in the Tower. Prompt number 2 is Dancer. And that says, read a book with a title with at least 5 words. Oh, I got to go back. So The Girl in the Tower, it is not fulfilling any bonus prompt for me. Okay. So book number 2 is read a book with a title with at least 5 words. The Bear and the Nightingale. 5 words. So yes, this is a reread for me. And so for that reason, I am going to listen to this on audiobook, which would give me the bonus prompt Christmas carols. It says do an audiobook. So I'm going to try this on audio. And I'm part of a virtual book club, and I recommended this book for December since it has so many winter vibes set in the steppes of Russia, and it centers around Vasilisa, who is caught between, she is able to see and communicate with the spirits of Russia. So like there is a spirit that protects the stables. There's a spirit that protects the house, and she is able to communicate with them and kind of keep them in their good graces. However, there's also the tension between that and so because she's able to do those things, she is labeled a witch. And there's a tension between her with that, and then also her stepmother is very much very anti that traditional folk religion, and is very much for Russian Orthodox. And there is a priest that has come to town who is also obviously very anti that. And I thought this was such a beautiful story that discussed like that tension between religion and then folklore, folk religion, and that like and organized religion, and then also what options are available for women during this time, when her options were to get married and have children or become a nun, and she didn't want any of those. And so I really like this book. I'm looking forward to listening to an audio and introducing other people to this book. And then prompt number 3 is Prancer, which is read a book set in a place that you have never been. And so I will be reading Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden, which is book 3 of the Winter Night trilogy, set in Russia. I've never been to Russia, and I'm not going to look at the back of this book because I haven't read book 2. I don't want to spoil myself. So then Vixen is read a book that you've been putting off. And for that, I'm going to read Keeper of the Lost Cities. So this is the series Keeper of the Lost Cities, and book 2 is Exile, and by Shannon Messenger. And I read the first book, Keeper of the Lost Cities, back in March for middle grade March, and then I've kind of been putting this book off ever since then. I've wanted to continue in the series, and I've kind of just been like, I should wait until March. No, I don't need to wait until March to read middle grade. But so because of that, I've been putting this off. And it does not fulfill a bonus prompt for me. So then the next prompt is Comet, which is read a book that starts with the same letter as your star sign. So my star sign, I'm a Virgo. Aren't I lucky that I get to find a book that has V? It starts with V. Fortunately, I keep meaning to read this book, and it hasn't happened yet. And that would be Vicious by V.E. Schwab. And this, I am actually, while I have a hard copy, I'm going to read it on Kindle Unlimited, because that will fulfill the Christmas Lights prompt, which is read an ebook. So it is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll be reading it there. And this is about Victor and Eli, who are college roommates. And they are very ambitious, they're very bright, but they're very lonely. And in their senior year, they have an interest in like adrenaline and near-death experiences. Kind of sounds like the movie Flatliners from the 80s. And because of that, seemingly supernatural events reveals an intriguingly possibility that under the right conditions, someone could develop extraordinary abilities. So I've heard this described as like Flatliners, and also Marvel, but like they're the villains. So we will see how this goes for me. Then the next prompt is Cupid, has multiple POVs or point of views, and I've been meaning to read this for quite some time, and that would be A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. So this is set in a world where we have 4 different Londons. So there's a gray London, a red London, a white London, and a black London. But apparently, like, no one really speaks about Black London. And Cal is a red traveler. He's able to travel between the different Londons, and not everyone can do that. And that's really kind of all I know. I did kind of start this, but I'm going to restart it. I was reading this during my lunch at work, and I don't, if I'm going to read at work, it has to be kind of like a light, fluffy book because I don't retain information very well. And then the next prompt is Donner. Oh, wait, hold on. That one also, so A Darker Shade of Magic also fulfills the Christmas Elf prompt, which is a book that has been on your TBR for a while. I've had that book for like maybe 2 years now. So it's been on my TBR for a while. I just haven't read it. Then the next prompt has multiple animals on the cover. Fortunately, this will work. Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is by Travis Baldree. So there's a cat and there's a dog. Yay! So I did pre-order this, so I've been wanting to read it, and it just hasn't worked right now for my the Clue Readathon that I'm doing, because like we don't know what the prompts are going to be. They just get dropped on us, and then we kind of have to scramble to figure out what book we can use for that. So Bookshops and Bone Dust has not worked yet for me for November. But this is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, and she's our orc, and she is younger, and she is still fighting. She's not retired. She's in the middle of her career. And from what I understand is she's been wounded, and she now has to go off somewhere and recuperate. And I think that's kind of how the events of this book take place. So I'm intrigued. I've heard it's been okay for people, and not as good as Legends and Lattes, but I think it's still going to be an enjoyable read. Then my next book, this is my Chonky book. So the prompt was Blitzen, and you had to roll a dice or do a random number generator, and whatever number you got, you're going to multiply that by 100 to determine how many pages at least your book had to be. So I did a random number generator, and I got the number 6. So my book has to be at least 600 pages. Well, so this is my chonker. And I was going to read this month, but it didn't happen because Iron Flame and Swordcatcher happened. And also just didn't quite work with what I wanted to do for, like, I needed faster reading books for Clue Readathon, and this I knew I would take some time with. Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. So this is book 3 in our Greenbone saga. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of terrified to read this book because I'm worried as far as like who is going to be alive at the end of this and who is not going to be alive. I did look at the back of the book just to find page numbers for something, and I did see one of our characters who makes it out alive. So, yeah, but I'm looking forward to reading this. I do want to read this. This I might work on over winter break. I think that would probably work better for me as far as like time goes and attention is, because after Thanksgiving break, we've got 3 weeks, and I have to prep students for finals and do progress reports and schedule IEPs for when we come back. So this is my winter break plans, I think. And that is actually going to work for a bonus prompt for me. I kind of feel like it's kind of cheating, but like, I don't know. The bonus prompt is Christmas Star, and it's read a book over 500 pages. So, and then last but not least, this is one that I might switch out just because I don't know. It's the Rudolph prompt came out before you were born in 2023. And the bonus prompt that I'm going to use for this is, where did it go? Christmas Tree. Like branch out. Read a book that you typically wouldn't go for. So I thought, well, I don't typically read classics. And if I do typically read classics, it's going to be Jane Austen or like Jane Eyre or Elizabeth Gaskell. Those are probably the classics I would pick up. So this is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. And I do want to read this book. He is from, I can't remember where, Nigeria. And so I do want to branch out and read books from authors just that I haven't read and are just have a different cultural background than I do. And I want to read around the world, diversify my reading. The reason why I selected this is because it is only like 179 pages. So I was trying to like offset some of the heavier, like I was trying to offset Jade Legacy, and like the Winter Night trilogy, while short, also has some heavy themes. So that's what I plan on reading. Honestly, I don't know if I'll get to this one. I will probably throw in some holiday themed romance novels because that's just what I like and just what I need. And, you know, the last 3 weeks before Christmas break, they're just stressful times. So sometimes I just need something that is easy for me to read. But so on that end, let me know what you suggest to read on those vibes. But let me know if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts on them. Let me know what you're reading in December. And happy reading, everyone.